Hello, thank you for joining us today. So we're going to go through some really nice simple Pilates exercises that are great to do if you've been suffering from low back pain, and they're working our core, our deep abdominal core muscles and also our glute muscles. So just go to where you feel comfortable with each of the exercises and I'll talk you through as we do them. So we're going to start by lying on our backs. If you come down onto your mat, if you're using a little thinner pillow you can pop it under your head, but you don't need to, you can just have your head flat onto the mat if you want to from here. Okay, so we're going to start by finding our neutral spine position. So we're going to bring our toes apart and those heels apart, so our feet are that hip width distance. So to begin with, we're just going to tilt that pelvis forwards and back. So imagine that pelvis is a bucket of water, we're tilting it back and then tilting it forward. So a really gentle movement that you'll feel through that lower part of your back. Just nice and gently. If it's a little bit uncomfortable, just go to where you feel comfortable. And we're just looking to find that midpoint between those two movements, so that pelvis in a nice neutral spine position from here. And our core is gently lifted, so we're just engaging our deep abdominal core from here, drawing that belly button in towards your spine. Those ribs should be relaxed and those shoulders drop down. So if you have had back pain, often our shoulders can be very tense, so just try and make sure they're dropped down and that neck is nice and long and lifted from here. Okay, so we're starting in this neutral spine position. If you're not sure about that, we go into a little bit more detail on our website at pilateslive.co.uk. But if not, we're going to go into our bridge from here. So if you are using that block, just pop it behind your head so your head is flat on the mat. We'll take a breath in together. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, so using those bottom muscles to lift you up into that bridge. Take a breath in here. As you breathe out, slowly lowering that back down to that start position. Good, so we'll take a breath in again. As you breathe out, squeezing those bottom muscles, coming up into that bridge position. Take a breath at the top here. As you breathe out, using those bottom muscles to slowly come back down to that start position. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, using those bottom muscles to help lift you up into that bridge. Take a breath at the top here. As you breathe out, using those bottom muscles, keep them engaged as you slowly peel that spine down, one vertebra at a time, back to that start position. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, use those bottom muscles, coming up into that bridge. That's lovely. Breath at the top here. As you breathe out, slowly peeling back down to that start position. Good, and again, breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, coming up into that bridge, breath at the top here. As you breathe out, slowly dropping back down to that start. Good, let's do one more. Breath in. As you breathe out, tucking that pelvis under, use those bottom muscles, coming up into that bridge, breath at the top here. As you breathe out, slowly dropping down to that start position. Lovely, well done. So if you're using that block, we can pop it under your head again from here. We're going to just challenge that core a little bit more into going to a one leg stretch. So we're going to bring one leg into our tabletop position. Okay, so that knee is at that 90-degree angle. Now it's really important we're trying to maintain that neutral spine position that we started with. So as you're stretching one leg away, I'm not letting my pelvis tilt or my back arch. I'm keeping that position and then lowering my leg back down. Good, we did alternate sides. So opposite leg up into that tabletop, lengthen the leg away, coming back into tabletop and then lower back down. Good. And again, opposite leg into tabletop, lengthen the leg away, coming back and then lowering. Good. And again, lengthen the leg away, coming back and then lower. So all the time I'm trying to maintain that neutral position of my pelvis as I'm lengthening the leg back and then lowering. Challenging that core to keep that stability around the pelvis. Good. Shoulders should still be nice and relaxed. Collarbones wide. So I'm not feeling any tension through my neck. And we're lengthening through, back and then lower. Good. And again. Lengthen the leg and back and lower. Great. We're going to just do a few more here. Lengthening that leg away. Keeping that control of the pelvis. Each side as you lengthen the leg one at a time. Good. Breathing in and out still, not holding your breath. Keep going here. Lengthening the leg, back and then lower. Good, and again. Lengthen that leg away, coming back and then lowering. Good. Down, well done. Okay, let's do one more each side. So lifting that leg to tabletop, lengthen the leg away, coming back and then lowering. And last time, back and then lower. Great. Okay, let's bring those knees in and have a nice stretch of that lower back. So one knee at a time, lengthening through that lower back, just opening out. If you want to, have a little hug here. So you're just breathing in and out as you're holding that stretch. Breathing in and then out. No tension through that upper body, just keeping that upper body nice and relaxed. And as you're breathing out, you may be able to bring those knees a little bit more into your chest if you can, but if not, don't worry, just go to where you feel comfortable, either taking those hands supporting it from your knee or just from the back of your thigh. So just breathing in and out as you're relaxing here. Good. And one more breath in and out, and as you're breathing out, sinking down that little bit further. Well done. And then just lowering back down to that start. And I'm just going to have a nice stretch a little bit more here into a rotation. So just dropping your arms over down to the side of you, or just keep them by your side, it's up to you. And then we're going to drop the knees over to one side, turn your head to the opposite side if you can, and then use those toe muscles to bring the knees back to the middle, and then over to the opposite side. So we're just getting a nice gentle movement through that lower back. And again, it can feel a little bit stiff if you've been suffering with back pain. So just go to where you feel comfortable, okay? You may find that you can go a little bit further one side than the other, and that doesn't matter. Just go to where you can, just dropping those knees over, just getting a little bit of rotation into that lower back. And if we can, we're turning our head to the opposite way, just to rotate through that spine a little bit further. Good, so just dropping those knees over, using the toe muscles to bring the knees back to the middle, and then over to the opposite side. Good. Dropping the knees over, turning your head to the opposite side, and then slowly coming back up to the start, and then over to the other side. Good, let's just do one more each side here. Dropping those knees over, using those toe muscles to bring the knees back up, and then over to the opposite side. Good. And then coming back to that start, and those arms down by your side. Well done. Okay, so we're going to come round onto our sides just to work into our glute and core a little bit more. If you've got a thicker block, we can use that just to help support your head and keep that neck in a nicer line. But if you don't have it, you can either rest your hand down or just use a little pillow at home. It's up to you. So from here, we're going to start with our clam movement. So feet and hips, so feet and hips in that line. So those knees are bent up, those hips are stacked on top of each other. Just lengthen through that waist, so you feel that waist just lift a little bit underneath you from here. And then we're going to start by pushing through those heels and lifting up that top knee into this clam position. Good, so we lift up that top knee and then lowering. Good. So now what you're watching for is making sure that as you're lifting that top knee, we don't allow those hips to roll back. We're keeping them stacked as we lift and lower that top leg from there. Good. So we're lifting and lowering that top knee all the time, keeping those hips stacked on top of each other. Sometimes it helps to put your hand there just to give you a little bit of support, know what your hips are doing as you're lifting and lowering that leg. Want to be feeling it in that back pocket side area. If you don't, then you might just need to straighten or bend your knees up a little bit from here. So just so we're feeling it into those glutes as we're lifting and lowering. Still keeping that core gently engaged as I'm lifting and lowering that top knee from there. Well done. Still breathing in and out, not holding your breath as you're lifting and lowering that top knee. Well done. Let's see if we can do last few here. Good. And let's do one last one, lifting up that top leg and then lowering back down. Well done. Give that muscle a little rub and just drop that leg in front if you want to and stretch out that top leg from here. Very good. Okay, so let's bend the knees back up again, and we're going to just work those glutes a little bit more and do a side kick movement. So keeping those hips stacked, that core gently lifted, we're going to lift that top leg just to hip height. Imagine that leg's on a table. We're going to slide the leg forwards, sliding it back, and then if you need to, just resting in between. If that feels okay, then we can keep sliding that leg forwards and back from here, just keeping that control and that leg at that hip height. It's not a particularly big movement, so your pelvis shouldn't be rolling. You should be keeping that control as you're sliding the leg forwards and back from there. Now, if you're feeling comfortable and that feels okay, we can straighten the leg and then slide the leg forwards and back from here and point the toes forward, flex the foot as you come back. It's not an especially big movement, as I said before. It's keeping that control as you're sliding the leg forwards and back. Good. Make sure that toes aren't getting closer to the floor. Keep them at that hip height as you're sliding the leg forwards and back from here. If that's feeling too much with the straight leg, then just go back to that bent leg or rest in between if you need to. Good. We'll just do last few here. Picking at your level what's comfortable for you. Good. Well done. Keeping that gliding movement forwards and back, that leg at that hip height. Very good, well done. Working through those glute muscles, very good. And let's do one more forwards and back here. And then relax that leg down, well done. And give that muscle a rest from there. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to come up into our sitting position from here. If you can just have your legs crossed or just have them slightly out in front of you. It's up to you, whatever's comfortable. So before we go on to the other side, let's just have a little stretch out of our sides. So we're going to rest one hand down onto the mat from here and then raise your hand up and over. So we're just stretching through the sides, a little side bend. Good. And then coming back up. And then again, just lifting up and over, just to where you feel comfortable, just to stretch out sideways through that back. Then back it up from here, good, and then opposite over to the other side again, stretching it over, coming back up, and then last time onto that opposite side, just reaching over, side flexing through that spine, and then back up from there, and just relax those shoulders. Great, okay, so let's come down onto the opposite side. We'll do the same again. So we're going to come down onto our side. If you're using that block, you can just pop it under your hand. So under your arm there, so your head's resting on top of it. Those feet and hips are roughly in that line, so those hips are stacked on top of each other. That waist just gently lengthened and lifted underneath you. We're going to do our clam movement again from here as we did before. So feet together, push through those ankles. We're going to lift up the top knee and then lower back down. Good, and again pushing up and lowering. So pushing through those heels, lift up that top knee and then lowering back down. So really making sure you're keeping those hips stacked on top of each other, making sure they're not rolling back. You're keeping them stacked as you're lifting and lowering that top knee from there. Good. So we're just lifting and lowering that top knee, keeping that control, making sure those hips aren't rolling back. So often your body wants to try and help and roll those hips. So we're looking to keep them stacked from there. Good. Now remember, we're feeling it in that back pocket side area. If you don't, you might need to straighten or bend those knees up a little bit just to make sure you're feeling it in that back pocket area. Well done, good. So just lifting and lowering that top knee. Good. Keep those hips stacked, remember, well done. Lifting that top knee and lowering. That core still gently lifted. Just maintaining that control as you lift and lower that leg. Well done. Let's just do last few. Keeping that control. Well done. And one last one here. And then relax that leg down. Well done. Give that muscle a rub. Just let that leg drop in front and have a little stretch out there and rest that top leg. Good. Okay. Now, as we did before, we're going to bend both legs back up again, keeping those hips stacked on top of each other. And we're going to do our side kick movement from here. So we're going to lift up that top leg just to that hip height. Imagine that leg's on a table and we're going to slide the leg forwards and then sliding back. So all the time we're keeping that control sliding that leg forwards and back. I'm controlling that movement through my pelvis, and I'm working through these glute muscles. Now, if that feels okay, then you can, as we did before, straighten the leg. We can add a little ankle movement, point the toes, flex the foot as we come back, point the toes, spring forward. But remember, you can rest in between this exercise. You don't need to keep going here. Just rest as you need to, but all the time maintaining that leg at that hip height. So if your foot's getting closer to the floor, either just have a rest and then start again, but just watching that that leg is staying in that hip height position. If that starts to feel too much, if you straighten the leg, then just bend that leg again, keeping that control, so not going too quickly, sliding that leg forwards and back from here. Good, so controlling that movement, sliding forwards, sliding back, well done, all the time, keeping that control there. Good, so just pick what's comfortable for you. Lovely, and we'll just do last few here, controlling that movement, side to side, as you're controlling it at the pelvis here. Good. Okay, let's just do one more here. Bring that leg forwards and back, and then relax down. Well done, very good. And just relax that leg from here. Okay, so we're going to come back up, drop that block down, and come back up into our sitting position, just to finish with a little stretch here of our upper bodies. So we're going to bring our hands together and just clasp those fingers, and then we're going to just stretch those fingers away and just bring those hands up to shoulder height. Just drop that chin down towards your chest, so we're stretching through that neck. Look up towards those hands, and then we're going to lift them up and then opening out into a big arm opening movement. Good. And again, clasp those fingers together. Bring those fingers away, bring the hands up to shoulder height, drop that chin to your chest. Then look up to those hands again, and then follow it with your head as you come up and around. Lovely. And again, so interlock those fingers, stretch those fingers away, hands up to shoulder height, drop your chin to your chest, then look up to those hands, and then both together, following it up and opening around from there. Lovely. One last time. Stretch the fingers away, bring up to shoulder height, drop that chin down to your chest, look up to those fingers again, and then following both together up to the ceiling and opening around from there. Good, then just relax those shoulders with a few rolls from here. Great, and relax them back down. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us for our little mini class today for low back pain. If you've enjoyed the class, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can join us for more Pilates at our weekly online classes on our website at pilateslive.co.uk.